What's up, disciples? Zane here, and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to go over the overview and thoughts for my favorite job in Final Fantasy XIV, Dragoon. In this video is going to be a couple of topics: dragon changes, job role skills, the new skills, and then at the end, my final thoughts on the job and how it plays at this point in time. So first, let's go over the job changes for Dragoon. Now, Dragoon lost a couple of skills. Some of them I feel that were unnecessary. Some of them I definitely were necessary because they were totally and utter garbage. So the first thing that they removed was Keen Flurry. Keen Flurry pretty much increased your parry rate, which honestly was utterly useless because why would a Dragoon need parry in the first place? So that was number one that was removed. The second ability that wasn't really removed but was changed was Feint. As you remember, Feint used to just inflict slow with some damage. Now it actually lowers target strength and dexterity by 10%. So those two were absolutely complete garbage, and we're thankful that they were removed. The other two skills that were removed that I thought that was not really necessary was Power Surge and Ring of Thorns. Power Surge just gave your next jump or Spine Shatter Dive a boost in potency and damage. That was removed for some reason. I don't understand why, but unfortunately it had to go. So I'm a little bit sad about that, but not as much as Ring of Thorns. Ring of Thorns was a circle AoE, and it pretty much comboed off of Heavy Thrust, thus doing more damage. That was removed, and quite honestly, I think it was a mistake because that was the Dragoon's only circle AoE. So now pretty much all they have is a line AoE, and if you're having a bunch of mobs around you, I mean, they're not exactly all in the straight line that the Doom Spike gives you, then you're probably going to be missing a few mobs, which I honestly think was a stupid mistake by Square Enix, but unfortunately they removed it. But you also can like spam it like in cities, and I think sometimes like frame rate drops and everything, and it became like a congestive problem. So I think that's why they also got rid of it. But that's just my thought on that. But Ring of Thorns, big loss for Dragoons, but what can I do? And of course, the last skill was Lobotomize, which was pretty much a dot, which was a pain in the ass to really manage because you had Chaos Thrust, you had Disembowel, you had Heavy Thrust. You had so many things to keep up. Lobotomize was just another pain in the ass. So I'm happy that they got rid of that dot, to be honest. Now let's talk about the ability changes and weapon skill changes for a Dragoon. First, Elusive Jump. Elusive Jump's recast time has been reduced to 30 seconds. Fang and Claw and Willing Thrust. If you can recall correctly, back in Heavensward, these two would proc RNG-like when you did your third tier combo. Full Thrust or Chaos Thrust. Now, Willing Thrust will always trigger when you do the Chaos Thrust combo, and Fang and Claw would always trigger when you do the Full Thrust combo. This way you know exactly what you need to go when you do your third tier combo. But the Dragon also has its ability slightly changed. Before it used to be 15 seconds, now it defaults to 20 seconds. Gives you an extra 5 seconds instead of your regular 15. Which I feel is a nice little change. And Geoskogel. With the new ability Nastron, Geoskogel recast time has been increased to 35 seconds. Unlike the 10 seconds that it was before. Nastron actually takes the 10-second cooldown instead of Geoskogel. The problem with Geoskogel being on a 35-second cooldown is that it kind of doesn't really mesh well when you need it, because if you don't use it properly, you're gonna be sitting on you'll be sitting on the later mechanics of the rotation when you hit level 70, which I'll get to that point a little bit later. But Geoskogel no longer reduces the blood of the dragon gauge anymore. So you pretty much use it to your heart's content, but the 35-second cooldown is the kicker. You can't use it as often, but it does not reduce the blood of the dragon gauge anymore. Now let's go over the new skills that Dragoon has gotten in Stormblood. At level 62, you're going to be getting Sonic Thrust. Now, a lot of people who play Devil May Cry, you know that this is the same attack that Dante uses, which is like the 1000 attack stab. At level 64, you'll be getting the trait Lance Mastery. It allows you to immediately use Fang Claw and Willing Thrust, one after another. With the second ability, I believe its potency is increased by 100. At level 66, you get the Dragon Sight buff. Grants right eye to self and left eye to target party member, increasing your damage dealt by 10% and the party member by 5%, as long as they are within 12 yalms. Before, it was actually 6, I believe, which wasn't very long, so you really couldn't use it on like red mages, black mages, or bards because they would be too far away. So they increased it to 12 so everybody would be able to use it. So if you have a bard, if you have a red mage, or a black mage, you can give it to them instead of your other melee DPS. At level 68, you'll get Mirage Dive. Delivers an attack with a potency of 200. Additional effect strengthens the gaze of your dragon gauge by 1, while under the effect of Blood of the Dragon or Life of the Dragon can be executed when dive ready. And I'll explain what that means a little bit later. And at level 70, you'll be getting Life of the Dragon. Allows for the strengthening of the gaze of the first brood upon using Mirage Dive, while under the effect of Blood of the Dragon when the gaze is at its strongest, which is 4 units, which is 4 jumps, or 4 Spine Shatter Dives, or a combination of both. Geoskogel will grant you Life of the Dragon status in place of Blood of the Dragon status. While under the effect of Life of the Dragon, Geoskogel will change to Nastron. Life of the Dragon will revert to Blood of the Dragon when duration expires. That all sounds confusing, I know. But don't worry, it's not as hard as it looks. And at level 70, you'll also be getting Nastron. You need to do your job quest in order to get Nastron. Delivers an attack with a potency of 320 to all enemies in a straight line before you. Only can be executed under the effect of Life of the Dragon. So, what that all means? Simple. During Blood of the Dragon, as you can see here, this is the eye of the first brood. That will open up when you do 4 jumps or 4 Spine Shatter Dives, or a combination of the 2. So, when you use jump, you get the dive ready proc, and then you'll be able to use Mirage Dive. Let me just quickly boost my gauge here so I don't lose it. So, like I said, every time you use a jump or a Spine Shatter Dive, you get the dive ready proc, as you can see going down the screen here. And Mirage Dive here automatically procs, which you're able to do that ability. Every time you do Mirage Dive, as you can see, the eye next to the pointed here opens up slightly. When you jump for the 3rd time, or Spine Shatter Dive for the 3rd time, and use Mirage Dive, it opens to a purple hue. Now we're going to hold this until we have either a jump or a Spine Shatter Dive ready. And also, Sonic Thrust also increases your Blood of the Dragon gauge. Alright, it's almost back up. And when you do 4 jumps, it opens completely. Now, you want your Blood of the Dragon gauge to be over at least 23 seconds. So when you do Geoskogel, as you can see, your bar turns to red. That means that is the Life of the Dragon gauge, which Geoskogel turns into Nastron, and Nastron has the Geoskogel's old 10-second 3 cast time. So you want to optimize it to get at least 3 Nastrons. If you have at least 22 seconds, you should be able to do it comfortably. So pretty much that was the 3rd Nastron. And as you can see here, Blood of the Dragon reverts back to its default of 20 seconds. If you use Geoskogel with the eyes open and it's below 20 seconds, don't fret, you will not lose. You actually will default automatically to 20 seconds. So even if you do pop Geoskogel with the Dragon gauge a little lower than 20, it will default automatically to 20. So you should be able to get at least 2 Nastrons out instead of 3. That's why you want to try to get it up to at least 23 seconds. Your first Nastron will come out right after you do Geoskogel, so you're going to double weave, and then the next 2 will come 10 seconds, and the next one 10 seconds, and then Blood of the Dragon will come back, and then you start the process all over again. So Life of the Dragon and Blood of the Dragon is the same thing. It's just a shift over when you use Geoskogel when the eye is open 4 times. So that is Mirage ready, Mirage dive ready, and that's what Life of the Dragon is. Very easy to understand. Don't worry, it's not like, oh my god, what is all this? What's all this text? I don't understand, but that's what it is. Jump, Inspiring Shadow Dive, twice each, open the eye, keep your Blood of the Dragon gauge up over 23 seconds, hit Geoskogel, Nastron will come right after it, do your combos, you come back to Nastron after 10 seconds, use it again, go back to your combos, you come back again, Nastron one more time, and then repeat the process all over again. So now I'm going to be going to give my final thoughts on Dragoon. At first, when Stormblood hit, Dragoon was unfortunately down where Machinist was. The DPS was horrific due to the fact that Mirage Dive animation was the trouble, because it was not able to weave well with other abilities because you couldn't double weave it. So they reduced the animation lock to double weave it so that you guys can fluently use Mirage Dive with other abilities. So Dragoon was pretty weak DPS at the beginning of Stormblood, but now as of 4.06, Dragoon is up there with Bard, Monk, Ninja, and the rest of them. Still not over like Samurai, Bard, or Red Mage, but it's now back to its almost its former glory. Because Dragoon was the top DPS in Heaven's Ward, now it's kind of like brung down a notch. So its ego has been bruised slightly, but with all the changes, it has redeemed itself. Dragoon's utility in raids and stuff is great, because you have the piercing debuff for bards and machinists to give them 2 extra damage. You have the Dragon Sight buff. You have the Battle Litany buff, which increases the critical hit rate for everyone. And so Dragoon has another utility, Dragon Sight, so now Dragoons are even more valuable in raid with the Dragon Sight, because you're buffing yourself and buffing someone else in the process. So overall, Dragoon got a extra utility, which is quite nice, which makes Dragoon almost essential when it comes to party composition. So basically, they kind of simplified Dragoon a little bit by making Geoskogel less aggravating with not having it reduce the Dragon gauge, taking out Phlebotomize so you don't have to worry about another dot, and pretty much taking out the power surge as well, so you don't have to weave that in anymore either. So overall, when I first started playing Dragoon, it was a mess. It was just really clunky. I had a hard time adjusting to the Dragon Gauge as well. Positioning it and everything was a pain in the ass. But I actually managed to put it in a spot where it works. I can look at it without really have to take my eyes off. So, take some time. The Dragon Gauge does take some time to get used to, but in the end, it's muscle memory. You will get used to it. As for the rotation, well, I'm working on it still. With Gyroscope's recast time at 35 seconds, you're going to pretty much want to use it a lot earlier. So when it comes back off cooldown, it will line up with jump and spine shatter dive. So you don't be sitting on Gyroscope because your eye is already open. Gyroscope isn't on off cooldown yet, so I would really want them to reduce it to at least 30 seconds recast time, which would make it a lot easier. But to remedy that, just make sure you use Gyroscope a lot earlier than you would normally would in Heavensward. So all in all, I would rate Dragoon, I probably would say an 8 out of 10. I really wish that they were higher on the damage range. I would wish that Gyroscope had a recast time a little bit lower. And I just really wish that the Ring of Thorns would come back, because I would definitely love to be able to AoE around me instead of in front. So all in all, I give it an 8 out of 10. I still love Dragoon. I kind of rather use it during raid than actual dungeons because of the AoE loss. But that's just me. It's still a powerhouse, especially with the potency increases and the positional penalty a little bit alleviated. So definitely would recommend Dragoon to any newbie into Final Fantasy XIV, and it is just a great job all in all. And I hope that they improve it in the future patches, because it does needs slight tweaks. So guys, that is going to be it for this video. That is going to be my overview and thoughts on Dragoon. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like on this video. Any comments, questions, or concerns you have with this job, please leave them in the comment section down below. I would be more than happy to help you guys understand anything you guys don't really understand. So if I miss anything or you're confused on any abilities or explanation, in the comment section is where you guys can best give me those questions. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new for more Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood content. So until next time guys, may you forever walk in the light of Lord Bahamut. Take care guys.